Some people use LDAP, some people use Workday, okay, and some people also use ServiceNow as a manager, okay. So there are n number of applications available in the market that people use for their HRMS. Source right. Then what about? Right, if I'm not using a HRMS source, I'm using Active Directory. Or instead of Active Directory, I'm using LDAP as a trusted source right. So what would happen in that thing? So nothing to be worried. Like in connector, what Saviynt has built, it has a different type of connector for different requirement. If you're using database, you have a different connector. If you're using Active Directory, you have to use a different connector. If you are using LDAP, you have a different connector. So to connect to your HRMS application right, this is your like trusted source application. To Saviynt, we are using a piece of connector, and how we can leverage that connector we'll see in a minute. Okay, so this connector we are going to build up now. Let's see how we build up the connector right. So here we will be using our database connector. Okay, so this database connector to integrate your Saviynt and your trusted source. And in between your connector is residing right. I told right, this is your DB connector. So what is your purpose here? To integrate? Right, I told to manage the user. Right, so you are going to manage some of the user which is coming from your trusted source. So if you recall, in the day one right, I told HR gonna upload your user here. Let's say, today I'm going to upload my user, the HR like Accenture HR, they hired 3 person. So these 3 person data, they will enter it here first. You agree with me right? Like for this first 3 person, like they'll be entering their first name, their last name, their email ID or their phone number and their educational details, all the details. They'll fill it up here in your database and it is for all of the 3 user. So for 3 user, they are going to enter all these details here. Those details will be bringing to our Saviynt application right. So to enter a data in your database right for a single user also, we need first a database right. So this database is nothing, but it's a placeholder, you can tell. So this database again will have different label. Right. So database can contain a lot of number of table, so we should have a table where all this information should be stored. Let's say I will call it as an import user table. Import _ users. Okay, this import user table will have all this information. Like first name, your last name, your email ID. And another column that is required for a uniquely identifying ID user. Okay, so these table we are going to create now to integrate our database application. Okay, so remember one thing for integrating each type of application, right? If you are in a corporate world, you can receive any kind of application to integrate. So the client will ask you, boss, we have a new application, let's say ServiceNow, and this application you have to integrate. So you should know about this application right? How this application is working. What is the user of this application? What kind of support it is giving for Saviynt right, so for each and every kind of application. Saviynt has given a documentation portal. Okay, this documentation portal. It will be accessible to only you if you are a part of organization. Otherwise you cannot access that document portal. So Saviynt is telling boss what kind of application you are looking for. I have a number of application predefined document to integrate your application. So in our case we are using DV application to integrate right for database. Also there is a predefined application they have given, they have uploaded to it right. So, if I open right, so this is a document where I have downloaded it, okay, from the Saviynt portal. So this is for your database integration guide. Okay. And these document. It is readily available just to give you some light right how this integration is happening. It is not the actual content. It will not be there. Just some sample information how you're going to build your JSON. What is there? You know, a skeleton. So if you know about, like Java, that has a defined skeleton right the same way. Saviynt. Also, for each and every application they have a defined skeleton right. So this is the documentation available for your database, right, if you go. This is for database integration guide. Okay, so this is your Saviynt documentation portal, right? So they have designed this portal. So if you scroll down, you will find a documentation link. I think okay. So if you scroll down here, develop for reference, okay. And you have here. Or simply you can search here right. Certified connector. So you search it here, right? Yes, Saviynt, certified connector. And you can search it from here, like you know. Okay, it'll go down, on down, you can find it. So you have your database right. Security. And collaboration project. A lot of documentation available. This is an enterprise application. And if you scroll down here you have a connector, standard connector, right? You have a REST LDAP all the type of connector here, right? So we are interested in database connector, right? Okay, if you click this database connector, right, so this database connector, it has all of your information, how you can integrate a database with your Saviynt. So these are all the information. Like in a data integration, we are preparing the integration and so importing user recommendations. So every information you have here actually, and this document is also downloadable, right? You can download. So let me come back to the main screen, right, where this document is open. Okay, so this is a document I downloaded from that portal. Right. So if you scroll down right, it is giving all of the information. Right about this guide and how to access to Saviynt portal. So using this link, you can access it. And this is your database integration, where you start here. What kind of import it is supporting, right? We just talk about like an authoritative source, right, like first resource, and that is your user and it is fully supported. Yes, incremental import is supported. So whichever is not supported, it will say, it is not supported here, right? So, remember me, we'll talk about like full import and incremental import. Okay, that is the most important part of thing, how this incremental report and full import work. Okay, so now we'll be integrating for user import. Okay, we'll talk once our user import is over how this account import is happening. Role and role entitlement. So all this thing we'll discuss. Okay, so let's focus on the first part, that is, the user import. That means the data will flow from you, this HRMS system, to your Saviynt database.